Hello and welcome to NHL Best Bets. Yesterday we got second team to the top four when Tampa won Carolina 2-0. We had there Carolina as our pick because of the good home arena advantage and odds, but Tampa was just 2 goals better than Carolina, and Hurricanes ended their season in a bit disappointing fashion, but they are a young team and they have chances in future if they proceed as they've done during the last few seasons. Then in Colorado, Vegas bit surprisingly won in overtime 3-2. Colorado played very well and they were dominating, especially second and also part of the third period, but Vegas scored with a few mistakes and are now leading 3-2 when the sixth game is in Vegas tomorrow. Tommy, what's your take out of these games?
I think we have said everything to say from these pairs already, but let's go through Carolina, Tampa Bay. Lightning was exactly that much better team than Carolina was. Nothing really Carolina could have done better. They played a good game. They got their chances to score. This time Vasilevsky again, man of the match, took a couple of saves there where needed, and then Tampa Bay grinded their way into victory. If it's 2-0, you know that it's going to be a tough game and a very close one. So Tampa Bay was a better team. They played a brilliant way that only this team knows how to play. So I think Lightning are the favorites to win the Stanley Cup again with these sort of performances, that they are able to adjust their play according to the opponent and do exactly what is needed to get these sort of soccer kind of victories like we saw in the series 1-2 twice and then 0-2 in the decider. So a great performance from Lightning. Nothing to be ashamed of from Carolina. They played well. Maybe took a bit too many penalties. They should have maybe tried to be a bit more active. But against Tampa Bay, this is an impossible task. So Carolina, bright future ahead. Let's see how they do in the off season. Maybe next season will be their time. It took Tampa Bay a couple of years to reach this stage. Carolina is on a right track, but a bit disappointing for us. But again, with these odds, I would take the bet anytime. In Colorado, on the other hand, maybe not taking this bet again. Maybe in Vegas, we go with Colorado again, but we'll see. Colorado played a good game, especially in the beginning. They were in the driver's seat as we expected. Vegas then came back in the third period in the game, maybe a little bit lucky bounces here and there, but this is playoff hockey, so this happens. So when you make a mistake, the other team is gonna take advantage, and this is what Vegas did brilliantly this time. So 3 goals in the last 25 minutes of the play, including the overtime winner. So a good game from Vegas, a bit disappointing from Colorado in a way that they couldn't score more than 2 goals. I would have wanted them to score in the end at least 1 or 2 goals in the third period, but not able to do that. Great game from Vegas, a little bit disappointing from Colorado, but I do still think that this is a 7-game series. So Colorado will bounce back from this one. Of course, it will be very difficult in Vegas, but they've already shown they can do that.
Yeah, when you have games or 3 games that have now out of 5 3-2, and 2 of those at least in overtime. So tough games, and now Colorado should just keep going what they have been doing. I think this was second best game after the first one for them. They speed up again and show that with the speed they can rally and put pressure to any defenses, and just the final touch was here missing. There were a few wide open nets and they just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, a little bit of sharpness needed maybe, but like with Carolina, nothing really to fold there. Colorado played a good game. But this is how it is in playoffs in ice hockey, that lucky bounce here and there, or maybe a little bit lack of sharpness in certain situation, and you lose a game. So it's going to be a very interesting one, the next one.
But we have one game before this Colorado-Vegas game in New York, Nassau Coliseum, the legendary place, having at least one more game tonight before new arena is built for New York Islanders. But there might be good chances that there will be more games in this legendary stadium. Based on our simulations, home team has a slight advantage, and with 132 plus odds, there's a great value to bet Islanders. They can clinch the series here. They are leading 3-2. Very good home team, won all the home games against Boston during the regular season. Barry Trotz can do the line matching, and Islanders has shown that they can beat any kind of team. They first beat Pittsburgh, more offensive team, now Boston with very similar type of hockey as they are playing by themselves. And as there is only one game here, we have also our player prop special available. Brock Nelson, second line guy in Islanders with good 110 plus odds to score at least 1 point. So that's also valuable based on our simulations.
Yeah, both of these picks, crazy odds, I would say. What we've seen between the Islanders and Bruins, these kind of odds are out of place. So all these games have been a lot closer than the odds makers have thought. Our simulations pretty much more correct in most of the time. Now we have 52% for Islanders, while they are heavy underdogs at home, plus 132. So great odds for almost as good team as Boston Bruins. And then when you count the old Coliseum, and then you count Barry Trotz at home, and you count that New York Islanders have been winning the last 2 games, so they are on the sort of upwards trend now. Boston has everything to lose in this game, so it will be a close one. I'm not saying Islanders will march through easily, but with these odds, Islanders no-brainer here. It's going to be a tough one. Tuukkaras returning the goal after being pulled in the last game for Boston, so I think it will be a sort of a bounce back for him as well. Close game expected, but with these odds, would go with Islanders any time of day in any situation of this series, because like I said, the way these games have been, evenly matched game and very tight one. Also, Brock Nelson's point, he scored 8 points so far in 11 games in playoffs, playing power play, a lot of responsibilities, of course, defensively, but also offensive player, plays in front of the net, has a great shot. I think he can score a goal, score an assist, because Islanders are likely to win this. So if they score more than 2, Brock Nelson is one of the guys who are the most probable to score a point. And again, you get odds of plus 110, which is a lot more than in the simulations. We have more than 50% for Nelson to at least score that point. So great odds for both of these picks. It's going to be a tight game, a very exciting game. But I do think that Islanders have a great chance to surprise Boston Bruins and surprise everyone by going to the top 4 in the NHL this season.
Yeah, these teams are playing very similar type of hockey, and it looks like this kind of hockey is pushing forward in playoffs. Montreal, with similar type of play, has now already secured their top place. Tampa has different ways of playing. They can rely on fast offense, but they can also defend very well with great goaltender. So let's see how the Vegas-Colorado series will end, because Colorado is naturally maybe the purest offensive team of these that are still remaining in the playoffs.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if Islanders go through. Montreal already did. If this has any implications in the future of how the teams are built and how are you allocating your dollars, because Montreal, well, they do have Carey Price and Shea Weber, very heavy set guys in salary wise, so there is a lot of stakes on them. But for example, New York Islanders barely have any star players. It's much more balanced team in every way. So we'll see if these superstar things might be coming to an end. Toronto didn't do that well. Edmonton out. Maybe something to think about in the front office as well.
And when Tampa went through the Final Four or top four, they are facing now winner of this series, and they'll have a home arena advantage in this semi-final. So that's interesting to see how either Boston or New York Islanders can now then repeat their performance from earlier rounds against the regaining champion.
Yeah, it will be definitely in the top four. There will be two favorites. So the one who is going through from Vegas, Colorado, will be favored over Montreal for sure. And Tampa Bay is definitely favorites over Boston or New York Islanders. So Tampa and whoever is coming through from the West will be the biggest favorites to win the Stanley Cup, especially the way they have played now, even if Vegas and Colorado still have a score to settle. So definitely the top teams are those three.
Let's see how the Islanders Bruins game goes tonight, and we'll be back with further analysis tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.